something much more important happening over the weekend. Far more important, closer to home, like most things are. Stuff that really affects us. And it was the commentary from a Northland iwi leader over the weekend in response to something that the Treaties Minister and Justice Minister Paul Goldsmith said last week during the scrutiny phase of Parliament. Now, Ngāti Hine leader Peter Tipney is somebody that you've met, I think, before. In fact, I'm pretty sure he has a bit to do with Waitangi celebrations. But he is the Ngāti Hine leader, and he's part of the wider confederation of Ngāpuhi iwi in the far north. And the Ngāpuhi iwi have been hanging out for an awful long time for a treaty settlement. I mean, God, we're still having treaty settlements in 2025. Absurd, but there you go. So over 30 years since the process first started, we're still going through treaty settlements. All right. But over the weekend, Ngāti Tipene said that they are calling an end to their negotiations with the Crown. And you think, wow, he said, we're in actual fact a very progressive and proactive iwi, it said. And I thought, they must be calling it off because they don't need government money. They've decided that they're actually going to utilise their own strength, and they're going to, and their wherewithal and their knowledge, perhaps a little Mātauranga Māori and Te Ao Māori in there as well. They're going to forge their own independent path. No, it's quite wrong. They're in actual fact calling off the negotiations because the Crown are refusing to accept that they are a sovereign state. And you go, what? Now, if you remember last week, we talked about, under the last and previous Labour government, that an initial deed of settlement had been signed with Te Whānau Apanui, which is what, the Bay of Plenty, isn't it? And we talked last week about that with one of the leaders of Ngāti Porou on this particular issue. And it was included the very first case of a clause agreeing to disagree on who holds sovereignty in this country. So that's gone back to the drawing board saying, we're not going to put that in. We're a sovereign. Obviously, otherwise you wouldn't be talking to us, said Paul Goldsmith. But now Peter Tipene, the Ngāti Hine leader over the weekend, has held and agreed. He says that the Crown can say all they like that they hold sovereignty, but Ngāti Hine, quote, are just as staunch and ferocious in saying that we hold authority and sovereign over our own. Our people have been very, very clear about this. And the bottom line is that accepting the Crown as sovereign, says Peter Tipene, is totally unacceptable. Now, I guess the question that you would have, and I have it this morning, and we will invite, and Hugh's, I think, working on that now, to get Peter Tipene on, is if you haven't conceded sovereignty, what does it actually mean? The laws that govern New Zealand, its representative structure, the tax system, the welfare system, education, health, superannuation, police and justice services of the New Zealand government, does that mean they don't apply or they have no meaning or purpose with Ngāti Hine or Te Whānau Apanui in this case? I mean, if an iwi or tribe maintains its own sovereignty, then surely it's claiming to have a separate status from the government and the state. I mean, it's a state within its state, isn't it? That's what they're claiming to be. That a sort of nascent but certainly independent entity from their point of view that exists outside of the New Zealand government and its lawmaking and presumably all the government's operations and services as well. I mean, if you don't concede sovereignty and you're saying we didn't on this sort of level, then surely that implies even states that you don't even recognise the Crown or government's authority, ironically, to be even talking to you about a treaty claimant settlement. I mean, you've got two options here. If you're not claiming sovereignty, you are either believing you're an independent state based around a whole bunch of iwi living, or iwi tribal members living, well, all over the show, to be perfectly honest with you, or alternatively, you are saying that the government has no authority over you, but can give you money and presumably provide you with all the things that I've just pointed out. The tax system, not that you're paying too much. No, not you're paying any, which would be ngāti hine. The welfare system, I guess you're taking advantage of that. Education, health, superannuation, policing, justice services, corrections quite popular, of the New Zealand government. All those things you're not being provided with. And therefore, what? You shouldn't have access to. Well, it'd be fascinating. What if we just suddenly turned off the welfare tap to Ngāti Hine and all of its iwi and claimants? And we said, no education services for you. Sport, no, you're going to have to provide your own health services. Superannuation? Oh, listen, you must have something saved out the back, stashed somewhere. I mean, come on. This is an absurdity. And for these iwi claimants to be arguing that they're not fundamentally part of New Zealand, nor governed by the laws of New Zealand, not subject to its rules or its regulations, it's just a come on, isn't it? It's just a have. It's just a negotiating tactic. They can't truly believe it, having surrendered sovereignty since 1840. I mean, you can't suddenly turn around, 185 years after the signing of the Treaty of Waitangi and say, well, we didn't sign that. We didn't say you were in charge, even though, well, you have been for the last 185 years. Listen, when we talk about fever dreams, I think that fever dreams of iwi leaders is really simple. You either are part of New Zealand and we will move on together as one people, which I'm pretty sure is what Governor Hobson said on the lawns of Waitangi on the 6th of February 1840, or we decide that you're going to hive off and have your own particular countries and little Bantustans, if you like, throughout New Zealand. You'll be completely dependent, of course, upon all the hinterland that's around you. You won't have a tax system, an economic income, any form of health, social welfare, social system at all. You won't have anything except, well, a couple of marae that, to be fair and honest with you, have largely been constructed with the taxpayer monies of the government that you came to have nothing to do with. I mean, it's sort of no, it's not sort of an absurdity. It is an absurdity. And all I can say to Paul Goldsmith in stating the bleedingly obvious is, if these people don't want our money, if they don't want the government's taxpayers' largesse, if they don't want to provide a future independently or augmenting, if you like, what the government's already providing, just don't give it to them. Let them walk away. Let Peter Tipene go back to his marae and to his people and go, they're offering us hundreds of millions of dollars. Yes, we could have used that for scholarships to send our kids to school. We could have, in actual fact, improved a few health services here. We could have got into some of the dysfunctional families of, I don't know, Kaikoui and Kaitaia and done something about it. But we said no. We're not going to take that. We're in charge of ourselves. Well, see how that flies the next time you go speeding through a stationary stop sign. Or you're doing 120k down the road somewhere. See how independent you feel. See how independent you feel when you've lost your job after being made redundant, or you've never had a job because mum and dad have been beating each other up and you've ended up in a dysfunctional whānau and having, well, frankly, no chance of succeeding. See how that works the next time you need A&E. See how that time the next works when you're 65 years of age and you're saying, where's my gold card? See how that works when somebody does come and beat you up and steal your stuff and you call the New Zealand police over to go and investigate, or you need victim support services. See how that works. There's part of me that just like to pull the pin just quietly and say, give Peter Tipene what he wants. Give him sovereignty. And then it would be a bit like, how long do you think they'd last, Peter? A week, a month, a day, an hour. Good luck, mate. Those are my thoughts this morning. What are yours?